Good afternoon. It is 3:30, almost 3:30. It's 3:29 Eastern Standard Time here in New York City. We are on daylight saving time, so we are an hour behind a lot of other places that are on Eastern Standard Time. So if you are joining me live, thank you so much for being here. And if you are watching this as a playback, then welcome. I hope you will stick around and watch the video. I plan to be on here for maybe about 30 minutes. Just so that I can give you a little update, but also because I'm craving your company and I just need to talk. And what I do in these lives, so if you're new here, welcome again. This is a bookish space. I talk books. There are books behind me. Some of them I've read, a lot of them I haven't. And sometimes I talk about these fictional worlds as though they are real places, because books offer me many things. One of those things is a little escape. Right now, I've been going through one of the roughest times in my life, and I really haven't been able to read for a few weeks now. But after I came on the live yesterday, I was able to pick up a book and read some pages, and that felt good because it reminded me of some of the things that I do sometimes to deal with the stress of life. And I don't say the stress of life to mean that life is always stressful. It's just sometimes when you're in a stressful period, it feels like that. But I know it's not. I know that there is joy, there's happiness, there is peace, there's comfort, there is enjoyment in life. Just, right now, I'm just still a little I don't want to say stuck. I'm trying to think of a different word, but I'm still in the sad place. I'm still in the sad place because if you didn't watch the video yesterday, maybe you don't know, but I'm still reeling from a big loss, and I'm still in the sad place, but I want to come on and just talk with you guys, because if I don't talk with you, I feel like I can't get out of the very sad place. In the last few weeks, I have thought probably every thought there is to think about my mom's illness and her passing. I have thought every thought, and a lot of them are not good thoughts. So this is me just trying to come out of the sad place. I don't want to stay there and sabotage myself. I have to find a way. I have to find a way to come out of the sad place. So I've been reading, and I picked back up the book that I was reading when I was traveling to Jamaica. I started reading this one, and 2 weeks passed and I didn't read anything, but I picked it back up yesterday, and so I was able to read a few pages, and I'm going to tell you about it because that's what I do. So this is the book. It is, I'm not sure what you can see if you're seeing it as a mirror image, so I'll tell you the title. It's different this time, and the author is Joss Richard. I got this as a new release from Penguin Random House, and it is a romance novel, so I don't think it was ever published in hardcover. It's published as a paperback. So this is the author, that's Joss Richard. And Joss Richard was born in Toronto to Filipino immigrant parents, and she currently lives and works in Los Angeles. And in this book, we're reading about a man and a woman who they lived together as roommates in New York. I think it's about 11 years prior to when the story picks up in the present day. So in the past, more than 11 years prior, we see them meeting as very young people. They're in their early 20s, and they have a kind of chance encounter. She's working in a bookstore. He comes in to look for a book, and they start talking. And it is the same day when she's just found out about an apartment, and there's some confusion. They eventually end up taking this brownstone together. And so they live there for some time as very good friends. And then something happens, and we don't know exactly what it is that happens. And they separate. She moves to Los Angeles, and he stays in New York. And when we pick up the story years later, it is because they've been brought back to this brownstone for some reason, and now they have some time to figure out what it is that went wrong in their relationship, because they were very close. They were very good friends. And I like the way the author treats the two timelines, where she doesn't give us like an info dump at any one point. We are following two different timelines and going along those two paths. We know where one will end up because we know that they eventually separate. So we know the end of the road in the past, in the previous timeline, but we are also at the same time flashing back and forth. And so we don't know where the present day timeline will go. So it's really interesting as a writing technique. And I think the characters are very likable. They're not perfect, but they're likable. And oh, Sheila, I see your message. I am so sorry for your loss. I grieve with you. Yeah, we just have to find a way to not stay in the sadness. One of the things that is a little difficult to read about in this book is that our main character, her name is June, our main female character, her name is June, and she has a difficult relationship with her mother. Her mother had her when she was very young, and she feels like her mother probably wanted the life that she has been pursuing. Like her mother wanted her to be, no, I'm sorry. So June is an artist. She's a performer. She is an actress, and she's had roles on Broadway and as well as on screen. And in the story, we're learning, we're reading a little bit about the difficulty of I'm sorry, I didn't say hi Phipps. Thank you. In the story, we're reading a little bit about the difficulty of pursuing acting as a career. The instability, the sudden loss sometimes when a show gets canceled, whether it's a on-screen or on-stage show gets canceled, and how the people who are involved are sometimes left in a lurch. So we're reading about that happening to June. But it is a dream that she is pursuing, because I think acting is something that you only do if you really love it, because of the instability of the career path. but she talks about the fact that her mother wanted to follow that path. And maybe she didn't get the chance to follow that path because she had her daughter when she was so young. And so this career seems to be the thing that has been has created the gap between mother and daughter. And if you have watch my videos or heard me talk about books on live or anywhere else for any period of time, you will know that I always talk about mother-daughter relationships in books. It is something that I enjoy reading about. But this new identity, this new development in my life means that now I am reading this mother-daughter relationship in a different way, and it is hard to read. June's mother also compares very drastically with the male character's mother, who we also meet. And so it's a little bit of a challenge. It's a little bit of a challenge now to read, especially right now, to read about something like that in a book. But aside from that, I think the writing is really immersive. I think a book has to be immersive right now for me to read even a few pages. So this is what I was reading yesterday. I read some pages after I came off the live. And so I'm going to try to read some more today. I don't know when I'll finish. I don't know what I'll pick up next, but this is what I'm reading. So I thought I would tell you about it. I also went and made some prints. I made some prints for my reading journal, which I may have shown you yesterday. So these are some of the little pictures that I cut out to stick into my reading journal, because in my reading journal I keep track of the books that I have been reading, and I put little pictures of the book and something that I want to remember about the book. Sometimes I write something about the plot, sometimes I write something about the characters, sometimes I write something about the comparison between this book and something else. Just notes, just general notes that are meaningful for me. Usually when I start writing plot, it takes up a lot of space. So I usually focus on not just rewriting like a summary or even going so far as to write a review, but just writing something that will remind me about my experience of reading the book. So, like when I read this book, Share the Memoir Part 1, I wrote that I wish I could find the audio version of this as an accompaniment, because I definitely want to continue reading her story, but it was a long read. It was, I think, about 800 pages. And I liked reading her story. I like knowing her story, but I also wish that for someone who is famous for her voice, that I could hear her voice when I was reading and not my voice in my head. Which kind of leads me to another topic of conversation, because it's it's something that I have thought about a lot when I think about reading faster, where they say if you sub-vocalize, you read slower because you're trying to read it verbally in your head, and you shouldn't do that if you want to read faster. But I haven't yet found a way to not sub-vocalize when I read. So I'm a slow reader. I just spend a lot of time reading sometimes, which is why I read probably maybe more than the average number of books for the year. I don't know. Average in terms of people who don't read a lot, people who are not pursuing reading as a hobby. But in terms of comparing myself with a lot of the other readers that I have met on bookish social media, I know there are people who read way more. I have some friends who read 300 plus books every year. I don't know that I will ever read that much or want to, but it's inspiring. So I picked up my reading journal because at some point I want to do some things to kind of update it. And it is October. We are now in the fourth quarter of the year, and I did set some reading goals for myself this year, and I know now that I won't meet all the goals that I set, but I still want to just kind of make sure that some of the things that are meaningful for me, some of the things that I did intend to do that I'm still working on, or this is the quarter where I kind of evaluate, whether or not the goals that I set at the beginning of the year are still meaningful, are still things that I want to pursue. So that is just what's going on with me. Thank you so much for being here. If you're just joining, please like the live, tap the screen so the live gets a little engagement and it gets pushed out to other people, whether right now in live time, in real time, or later as a playback. The more engagement the video gets, the more likely it is that it will be recommended to other people. So in my reading journal prints that I made today, like I was telling you, I haven't read much recently. So I don't have a lot of books that I have read here that I want to cut out pictures of to put in my book, to put in my journal. But I have some, I guess, reading plans scheduled, and some of the pictures some of the images that I put here are of books that have come to me recently that I know I want to read sometime soon. So I have a couple of reading challenges that I may still be participating in, and I captured the images of those books. So a couple of these are books that I had read earlier in the year and just didn't have the pictures in my journal. Like this one, What Does It Feel Like? A few of these up here are for a reading challenge that I'm participating in. I don't know how many of these I'll read, but I like to have the pictures handy so that when I do read the book, if I read it in time for the challenge, that I'll be able to cut it out, stick it in my journal. So that's what's in my mind in terms of reading. I don't have any new books to share with you today. Don't have any new bookish packages. So yeah, I don't have any new bookish packages and haven't finished any books. But I would love to hear from you, what you've been reading, what you have, if you've finished anything lately. You have a recommendation to share, would love to hear that as well. Thank you so much for tapping the screen and liking the live. I appreciate you. Would love to hear from you where you are, what time it is where you are, and what you've been reading. So it is 3:49. I'm gonna be on here for another 10 minutes or so, and then I have to go get my daughter from her club. So should I do a reading sprint? Should I actually read something for a few minutes with you? That might be good, because I don't know what else to tell you. A lot of what I would tell you maybe a trigger for me. I did have one good update. Um, so I've been telling you about my challenge with my email in my inbox for Yahoo. So Yahoo sent me a message a couple of months now that they're now changing their plan, and you get 20 gigs of free storage in your Yahoo email inbox. And anything over 20 gigs, you'll need to delete some of the emails that you have stored or start paying for storage in order to keep your inbox active. And I started when they sent me the message, told me that I was I was more. I don't remember how many gigs I was when I got the first alert, but I started deleting a lot of things that have just been in my inbox for years. I had a I had a job on campus when I was in college. I had a job on campus, and some of the emails that I had saved in my college email at that time, um, they would send, I think they would save copies to my Yahoo. I don't remember how exactly it worked, but my Yahoo was like a backup. So there were a lot of emails that were just in my inbox from then, um, as duplicates of emails that I had either sent or received through my college email. And we're talking like 15 years ago. So I had, just things in my inbox that I hadn't dealt with. And so I just went to work and I started deleting like emails in mass. And at first it felt like nothing was changing, like I was still at my storage limit. But that's because I was also, for every email that I would delete from the past, I was still getting more emails coming in. I think they extended the deadline a couple of times. And this past Monday, I think it was, the new change took effect. So after Monday, any email that would be sent to my Yahoo, I can no longer access. I can no longer see it. So it may have been received. I just don't know, because I can't see any new emails. It's not receiving any new emails. I can still access anything that was in my inbox previously. So I'm still able to go through and open my inbox and delete things, read things, and so on. But I can't see any new things. So that means that now for everything that I delete, it's actually reducing the number of emails that I have in my inbox, which is a great thing. So I have been deleting. I've been deleting things a lot. And this morning, sometime between last night and this morning, because I stayed up for most of the night, I haven't been able to sleep. And I see where we're making progress. We are now just maybe a half of a gig or less, maybe like 300 or 400 megabytes over the 20 gig limit, which means if I keep doing this maybe another day or two, I will be able, I think, to get below the 20 gig storage limit so that I can continue or resume getting mail to my Yahoo inbox without having to pay. The fee to pay for the additional storage is, I think, $1.99, so $2 every month for an additional 100 gigs of storage. It's not that bad. To be fair, it's not that bad. Yahoo has given me email service for probably 26 or 27 years for free. I could pay, but it's not about the money. It's not about the money. I just don't want to start paying for something that I could get for free, because it's a sign to me that I have a lot of things that I probably just need to declutter some of my digital files. So that's me trying to trying to declutter my inbox, but also owning this whole challenge. Like, okay, I'm gonna get below 20 gigs because I have a lot of emails that I don't need. I paying to store emails that I don't need, haven't read in several years. A lot of things are just still there unread. If a email came to me longer than a week ago and I didn't read it, was it really that important? No. So should I pay to store something that's not important? No. It's the same statement that I make about storage. Like, I understand why storage facilities exist and why they're necessary. Um, I understand because a lot of times people go into transitions, and you have things you don't necessarily want to get rid of them, because to buy them back if you need them later can be even more costly than storing them temporarily. So I understand why people need storage facilities. But a lot of times we put things into storage and then we forget about them. And we start paying like long-term storage for things that we really didn't need at all. And a lot of times I've heard about a lot of cases where people, after having paid for storage for a really long time, something happens and they just either lose the storage because they stop paying, or whatever the reason, but they no longer have access to their stuff, even after having paid to store it for some time. And I get why it happens. I see how it could really easily happen with me, because sometimes out of sight is out of mind in terms of our stuff. So I don't I don't want to start paying to store digital files, to store emails that I don't need. Long, convoluted story, but yeah. So I am making progress on my Yahoo inbox. I think I'm around somewhere under 400 megabytes that I still need to delete to get under the 20 gig limit. And then we're going to be good. We're going to be good, and we're going to keep managing the inbox is the plan. I don't want to pay $1.99 a month to store emails. So I know it might seem like a very small thing, but right now I will take any positive, I will take any win, I will take anything that feels like I am doing something right, because man, I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. So I was gonna do a reading, read for a few minutes, but I'm not really feeling it. So I set out come on here for about half an hour. It's been almost half an hour. So I think this is where we'll leave it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. I know for those of you who know what I've been going through, you kind of know what to expect when you come on here. And I appreciate you coming anyway, because you didn't have to. These are the videos that some people will want to skip. And I understand. I understand because, you know, sometimes when you see someone going through a hard time, it's difficult for you because you have also experienced or are currently experiencing a hard time as well, and you don't want to be reminded, or you don't want to shoulder someone else's sorrow while you're working through your own. So I understand why some people will not view these videos. So I thank you for being here. I thank you so much for your company. I thank you so much for being on the listening end where I can just come and talk and talk about something that isn't the sad place for a little while. I thank you. Thank you for being here. I really enjoy your company. I really appreciate your company. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everyone who taps in and likes the video, watches the video, leaves a comment. Thank you so much. Sheila, I am thinking of you. I cannot imagine what you went through, and I keep you in my thoughts and prayers too. Thank you, Phipps, for your encouragement. Thank you for everyone who joined. And I hope that we will all have a good weekend. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you're reading, I hope you find something really enjoyable to read. And come on back on Monday and let me know what you read and how you found it. And if you have a recommendation to share, would love to know. So enjoy your weekend. Whatever it is that you're doing, I hope you stay safe and enjoy the people that you spend time with, or enjoy the pleasure of your own company if you prefer solitude. Happy weekend. Okay,